Donald Trump sort of poured gasoline on this fire a couple weeks ago when he made a speech down in Alabama. The NFL, what are they saying now? What's going? They want to change the rules? Or they want to have a meeting? What's going on here?
Well, originally you had NFL owners saying, nobody tells me what to do with my players, and that my players have the right to protest during the anthem if they want to. It's a free country. Then you had a couple owners say, actually, our players should be benched if they end up kneeling during the national anthem. And now NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell sent out a memo to owners. They're going to have a meeting next week, and he says that it is the opinion of the NFL that players should be standing during the national anthem. He says he's got a plan going forward to figure out how to, quote, move past this controversy. So the question now is, what will that be? Will there be an ultimatum by the clubs saying you've got to stand during the national anthem, or will there be some other kind of compromise that they can work out? Either way, what was a big headache for the owners when President Trump got involved is now going to be a big question for the players as to whether they sort of toe the line.
Well, I mean, speaking of lines, they've now drawn a line in the sand, the owners and the NFL, right? And so they're almost daring the players to protest.
Yeah, and if you're a player who has staked their reputation over the last several weeks or months on making your voice heard, saying how much it matters to your community to be seen on the sidelines, speaking up for what you see as injustice, will you be seen as a sellout if indeed you end up sort of following the rule in the rule book? Now, what it says right now in the NFL manual is that players should stand. That has been in there for a long time. There's just no penalty for if you don't. It doesn't say you must stand. So the question now is, will the owners change that rule? It's not clear that they will yet. Like I said, Roger Goodell says he'd like to come up with a compromise. So you know how there's a week for breast cancer awareness
right.
in the NFL? It's very possible you could see a week devoted to social injustice or a week devoted to community development that the players would get involved in. But whether that is enough for the players' union to end up saying, yeah, we'll stand during the national anthem against our political judgments, that's a big ask of some of these players, I think.
The NFL has got some skin in this game as well, or not all pure. They were taking money from the Defense Department to have the players stand on the sidelines to, praise the National Guard and veterans. They took money. Those were advertisements paid for by the Defense Department. So the NFL isn't clean on this either.
Yeah, I was going to say, the NFL, it was not as if the NFL, out of the goodness of its heart, was paying fighter pilots to come and fly jets over their stadiums. No, that was all done by the U.S. government, by the U.S. taxpayer. And when it comes to taxes, the NFL league office is actually a tax-exempt organization. Now, that's different from the teams that make billions of dollars. They're all taxed on that revenue. But $9-10 million a year is technically tax-exempt. The NFL decided that it was such a sort of a political landmine, they've ended up voluntarily paying taxes over the last several years. But that's what President Trump was talking about yesterday when he said maybe we should be revisiting the tax rules surrounding the NFL. So he's tried now in a number of ways to threaten the NFL's pocketbooks. And you saw how resentful they were of that early on, but now it appears that you're seeing a lot of very powerful men and women decide to sort of toe the line.
Has any of the players said anything since Jerry Jones came out the other day?
We really haven't seen too much reaction from players, and we haven't seen much reaction from the players' union, which makes you think that they are trying to work behind closed doors with the ownership to come some sort of a compromise here. I mean, the large majority of NFL fans agree with the president that players should be standing. Now, I don't know if all the fans agree that those SOBs should be yanked off the field, but that is the fight that the president set up, and the owners, I don't think, feel comfortable that that's a fight that they would necessarily win. However, we haven't seen huge rating slumps. We have not seen big walkouts to the stadiums or anything like that, but we have seen some very high-profile arguments, and in the middle of all that, the NFL, they're afraid of now being seen as divisive, as something you have to choose sides over. They want it to be something that was there for everyone.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Who would have thought that the national anthem would be the most interesting part of an NFL game? Brad Melke, thanks for checking in. Have a good day.